Welcome to Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio with author, speaker, and your host, Pat Rouleau.
Serving you a generous helping of everything you need to know to help you and your loved ones stay safe during any doctor or hospital visit.
The program is not intended to replace medical advice from a licensed professional, but rather to encourage you to become a well-informed participant in your health and well-being. And now, your host, Pat Rouleau.
Hello, I'm Pat Rouleau. Welcome to Speak Up and Stay Alive, Patient Safety Radio. I'm happy that you are here with me today. And can you believe that it's almost the end of 2014? Wow, this year has really zipped by, but never fear, I'll be back in 2015 with even more than this year. How could that be? Well, because this program will now be heard on 218 cable television stations throughout the country, with a heavy saturation in Arizona, California, New York, and others. So in addition to hearing us in Cleveland and other terrestrial radio stations, as well as on iHeartRadio and other internet outlets, we've been asked to take the show to cable television as audio only, similar to the music channels that you get on your TV. Well, now, Speak Up and Stay Alive will enjoy that exposure too. So lots of exciting additions and growth for the show. And I must thank you, our dedicated to the show listeners who love the show as much as I love doing it. So look out, 2015. It's going to be a good one for us all, I hope. Well, let's begin to wind up this year's programs with a healthcare hazard of the week with a topic that is always dear to my heart, and that is infection prevention. It's an important component to patient safety and healthcare safety in general because it's actually something we can be proactive about, something that is within our control. So when I received this email that I'm about to share with you, I had to laugh for a moment because obviously what I discussed via the airwaves really made this person not only stop and think, but caused her to change her behavior and empowered her to become an advocate for herself. Well, without further comment, let's get started because right now it's time for the healthcare hazards of the week. Here's the letter I received last week. It says, Pat, I listen to your show twice every Saturday morning in Cleveland, once at 7 o'clock on WHK and again at 9 o'clock on WHKW. And I'm always shocked when I listen to the 9 o'clock show that somehow I missed something from the 7 o'clock show. But anyway, I wanted to let you know how you've changed my life. I no longer open a public bathroom door without using a paper towel. I no longer have lemon slices in my ice water at a restaurant without worrying about the bacteria on the lemon peel. I can't use the remote in a hotel room because I don't know what the last person was doing while flipping through the movie channels. I can't sit down on the hotel bedspread because I can only imagine what has happened on it since it was last washed. I have trouble shaking hands with someone who has been driving because the number one pastime while driving alone is picking one's nose, although cell phone usage may be overtaking the number one spot. I can't touch a woman's purse for fear she has placed it on the floor of a public bathroom. Also, now I have to scrub the top of every can I open to avoid bacteria falling into my food. And thanks to you, Pat, I give my washing machine a mouthwash to get rid of the peanut-sized E. coli that accumulates after doing loads of underwear. I no longer check the coin return on payphones because I could be pricked with a needle infected with AIDS. When I go shopping, I no longer use the baby seat to store my items thanks to your advice about baby bottoms and dirty diapers. Pat, thanks to you, I feel brave enough to ask my doctor to wash his hands before he examines me, and I was never able to do that before. In fact, I've learned so much from your radio programs that I feel much more confident whenever I use the healthcare system. Even though some of this is scary, you've given me a voice that I now use with confidence and authority. So thank you. Well, I thought this was a fun email as it highlighted just a few of our infection prevention conversations this past year, and it points to the fact that there is so much we need to know in order to be stewards of our own good health. And as I've said before, I'm not here to scare you, just to prepare you. Now, before we leave this email, for those who may have missed the show that talked about some of these things, I'd like to offer some of my short comments. She says I could no longer open a public bathroom door without using a paper towel. And I say that only makes sense. When you do a good job and wash your hands prior to leaving a restroom and then touch the door handle used by so many who don't wash their hands, you're contaminating your freshly washed hands again. Doesn't make sense, does it? And that's called cross-contamination. She says I no longer have lemon slices in my ice water at a restaurant without worrying about the bacteria on the lemon peel. And I say, can you imagine how many unwashed hands may have touched that piece of lemon? Or how old it is? Or did anyone wash the lemon rind to begin with? No thanks. I just bring my own bottle of water with me in my purse. She says I can't use the remote in a hotel room because I don't know what the last person was doing while flipping through the movie channels. And we address this often, as the TV remote is the germiest object in a hospital room too. What about kids? Children are notorious for seldom washing their hands. As a solution, we offer a canister of handy plastic sleeves that you could slip right over a TV remote for a germ-free experience. And they're only $5 for a canister of 10. You can find those on the shop page of the SpeakUpAndStayAlive.com website. She says I can't sit down on the hotel bedspread because I can only imagine what has happened on it since it was last washed. Well, here's what I do. I gently pull off the bedspread and lay it in the corner and then wash my hands. Prior to entering the room, I always ask the housekeeping staff for an extra top sheet. And then I cover the nasty blanket with the clean sheet. Fold it over the top so it doesn't touch my face while I'm sleeping either. Now you can lay on the bed or in it without wondering who did what on the bedspread that seldom gets laundered. She says I have trouble shaking hands with someone who has been driving because the number one pastime while driving alone is picking one's nose, although cell phone usage may be overtaking the number one spot. Well, I say either way, noses or cell phones, shaking hands is actually just a bad practice. I always wonder, where has that hand been? And why do we need to press flesh against flesh to greet a stranger? It's a very bizarre practice indeed. How about a head nod or a bow? Heck, I'd even settle for a curtsy. And then she says, I can't touch any woman's purse for fear she has placed it on the floor of a public bathroom. Oh, so true. And how many women come home and first thing, set their purse on the kitchen counter where they will soon be preparing food? Bad idea. A good practice is routinely clean the bottom and inside of your purse with disinfecting bleach wipes. Also, she says, I now have to scrub the top of every can I open to avoid bacteria falling into my food. Again, similar to the bottom of a purse, where have those cans been? Who has touched them 1,000 times? Think of the dirty grocery store conveyor belt at the checkout. When you get home from shopping, grab a few bleach wipes and give the can tops a swipe. Or at the very least, rinse the tops with hot soapy water prior to opening. And don't forget to occasionally sanitize your can opener. She goes on to say, thanks to you, I give my washing machine a mouthwash to get rid of the peanut size of E. coli that accumulates after doing loads of underwear. And she's absolutely right. Our microbiologist friend, Dr. Chuck Gerba, also known as Dr. Germ of the University of Arizona, he suggests to make your underwear load the last wash of the week and then to run an empty cycle. No clothes, just hot water and a cup or so of bleach to disinfect the inside of the drum. She said, I no longer check the coin return on payphones because I could be pricked with a needle infected with AIDS. Now, I don't remember talking about that one because I don't think there are many payphones left, but I do remember when that was an issue. The same for gumball and candy machines and pop machines. Be wary when you stick your finger in those. Well, now, we have worse worries as the city of New York has turned all of their outdoor payphones into Wi-Fi hotspots, radiating those that walk by with a not-so-healthy dose of radiation. Those darn payphones. When I go shopping, I no longer use the baby seat to store my items, thanks to your advice about baby bottoms and dirty diapers. And yes, studies have been done on shopping carts, so use the sanitizing wipes to thoroughly clean at least the cart handles and pass on the baby seats. So again, she said, Pat, thanks to you, I feel brave enough to ask my doctor to wash his hands before he examines me, and I was never able to do that before. In fact, I've learned so much from your radio programs that I feel much more confident whenever I use the healthcare system. Even though some of this is scary, you've given me a voice that I now use with confidence and authority. So thank you. And I say thank you right back to all of you who listen and appreciate this program. And as 2014 comes to an end, I'm sure I'll have lots more to share with you in the new year. So keep listening. And remember, it is okay to ask your healthcare providers to wash their hands before touching you, just like the title of this radio program. You have to speak up and stay alive. And with that, let's hear some legal news you can use. You've heard me talk about my attorney friends at Schraff & King, and I know many of you have taken my advice and contacted them to help you with your advanced directives. Things like a healthcare power of attorney, living will, help with information about the Do Not Resuscitate form, and more. But today I want to share with you something that really underscores just why I suggest that you work with the folks at Schraff & King and why they are on this program. As we get older, our legal needs may change as we navigate through Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, veterans benefits, disability, and nursing home issues. Therefore, we require help from people who demonstrate a serious commitment to our needs. There are many important reasons to choose a certified elder law attorney, but let me share just two. In order to become certified by the National Elder Law Foundation, a licensed attorney must have, number one, spent an average of at least 16 hours a week practicing elder law during the 3 years preceding the application for certification. The attorney must have also handled at least 60 elder law matters during those 3 years with a specified distribution among a wide variety of topics. That's a lot of time and a lot of experience. And maybe that's why Schraff & King is one of only a few practices within the state of Ohio that actually have a certified elder law attorney within their group. And number two, the attorney must have participated in at least 45 hours of continuing legal education in elder law during the 3 years preceding the application. There are additional requirements, but when I learned of these two, I just knew I had to share this with you. Attorneys certified in elder law offer you something that other attorneys do not. So don't go anywhere else. Contact the folks at Schraff & King today. They're located in Willoughby Hills, just south of State Route 6 and Interstate 91. And you can call them at 440-585-1600. That's 440-585-1600. Or visit them online at schraffking.com, SCHRAFFKING, schraffking.com. And be sure to let them know that you heard about them here on Speak Up and Stay Alive. Again, it's 440-585-1600. 440-585-1600. Call them today. After the show, be sure to visit the website speakupandstayalive.com for more life-saving information. Plus, that's where you can purchase the book, Speak Up and Stay Alive, The Patient Advocate Hospital Survival Guide. Bring the book to the hospital with you. It's the best way to stand out and in a positive way. And remember, we donate 2 handmade pillowcases to either a troop member or to a local veterans shelter for every book sold with your name on it as the donor. So for a mere $20, you benefit, and so does some well-deserving warrior. Give a meaningful and useful gift that really says, I care. Give the gift of healthcare safety. Purchase the book, the patient safety logs, and throw in some of those icebreaker cards. It's a one-size-fits-all present that everybody needs. You can order online at speakupandstayalive.com, or you can request by email at speakupandstayalive.com, or call me 440-725-5462.
Hot. Bring the heat.
And now, back to the show.
Well, you're listening to Speak Up and Stay Alive, Patient Safety Radio, and I am your hostess, Pat Rulo. And I always bring you the best and brightest to help you stay safe during every healthcare and hospital encounter. And today we have a return guest, one of my favorites when it comes to sharing thoughts about the patient experience. He is Dr. James Merlino, the Chief Experience Officer and Associate Chief of Staff of the Cleveland Clinic Health System, as well as a practicing staff colorectal surgeon in the Digestive Disease Institute. He is the founder and current president of the Association for Patient Experience. And he recently authored the fantastic book called Service Fanatics: How to Build Superior Patient Experience the Cleveland Clinic Way, with one simple goal in mind: to help healthcare providers better align their organization around the patient. Both he and the Cleveland Clinic are recognized world leaders in the field of patient experience, and so it is with great pleasure to welcome you to the show, Jim.
Hi, Pat. Thank you very much. It's really my honor to be here again with you.
Well, thank you. It's always a special time to have a conversation with you. Well, Jim, I'd like to begin by reading a very short paragraph from your book synopsis, just as a way to start. You say that healthcare is an industry that touches people at their most vulnerable times in life when they are physically and emotionally distressed. Yet too often, patients and family members are not treated with the courtesy, respect, and care they so desperately need, and which should be relatively easy to provide during these difficult times. These negative experiences not only have a lasting impression on patients and family members, but they also impact a hospital's bottom line. And in today's healthcare environment, people have a choice of where to go for care, and hospitals can no longer rely solely on their outcomes as a differentiator and indicator of high-quality care. Patient experience is about building a culture that supports safety, quality, and satisfaction, which ultimately improves the value of healthcare and reduces suffering. So basically, we're saying that the patient experience is the healthcare term for customer experience. And no matter if it's a hospital or a restaurant, the customer experience always comes back to the culture of the organization. So if you would, Jim, talk us through a few of the innovative steps the Cleveland Clinic has taken to realign the culture, as you wrote about in your book.
Thanks, Pat. Well, first of all, I think it's an important passage because when you think about it, no one wants to be a customer in healthcare. It's not something we choose. And I know that people often get upset when I use the word customer in place of patients, but the reality is that patients are customers before they become our patients. And so we have a responsibility to, first of all, recognize that the time and experience, that the emotions that people are having when they become patients are not positive. It's not something they choose. And so something we did at Cleveland Clinic for all of our 43,000 caregivers is the first thing that we did was we set a strategic priority around the patient experience. We said this is really important to the people that we serve, to the families that we serve. We are going to make it a strategic priority. We have been very good about getting information out to our caregivers, storytelling, both good and bad experiences, reading letters, sharing survey results, sharing feedback, so that people in the organization understand really what's going on, recognizing the voice of the patient. We try to collect information around the voice of the patient as much we can because we want to share that with the people in our organization so they really understand what's going on with our patients. And we've tried to really instill this concept of empathy in everyone. And empathy is a topic that people in healthcare talk about a lot, but it's really very important to get it across to the organization, to get people to understand what it means. So we've put our employees through half-day training, talking about what it means to keep the patient at the center of everything that they do. We've leveled the definition of employee and said, look, we're not doctors, we're not nurses, we're all caregivers. We're all in this together. You don't have to be a medical professional to provide care to somebody. You could be a parent taking care of children, or children taking care of elderly parents, which I think both you and I do. And then we've had discussions about what is empathy? Why is it different than sympathy? Why is it important that everybody have it? Because we wanted to frame the discussion so that when we're out there on the front lines, we're doing two things. Number one, we're attacking this concept of patient suffering. We're recognizing that patients don't come here when they want to. They come here because they have to, and that they're really going through suffering, and then it's our responsibility to create an environment where we can relieve that. And on the other hand, something a colleague of mine recently pointed out is that suffering affects not just patients, but us as caregivers. Taking care of patients is very difficult work. We have to recognize that. We have to make sure that we understand the burden that our nurses, our physicians, our other caregivers go through every day, and so that we're providing an environment where not only it's good, healthy, compassionate, empathetic for patients, but we're also taking care of our people, making sure that we put a focus on our caregivers so that they're in a supportive environment as well.
And that you also mandated same-day appointments, and that last year you had over 1 million same-day appointments. Wow, what a benefit to the community.
That's right, Pat. Well, it's a couple things. One of the things we recognized was that in some of our data, patients felt they had difficulty getting in. New patients felt that you had to know somebody or you had to be somebody important. And my boss, CEO Dr. Toby Cosgrove, felt like, look, we're going to attack this head on. We're going to institute same-day appointments. People can call the number. We're going to offer them. If they want to be seen today, we will see them today. And what we recognize is that we were doing it because we thought we had an access problem. But what the real issue was patients wanted it because they felt that if they had something come up immediately, they didn't want to wait to be seen. I mean, if you walk out of your doctor's office and they tell you that you could have cancer, you don't want to wait 2 weeks to see a specialist to figure it out. You want to figure it out right away. So it was something that relieved a lot of anxiety with patients. And as a result, we do, as you said, over 1 million same-day appointment visits a year. It's been a great patient satisfier.
Absolutely. And my family is one of those of the 1 million. And I didn't realize that was the case, is that my husband was just feeling really, really ill and his blood pressure was skyrocketing. And I made a phone call to the Cleveland Clinic and they got us in that afternoon. And now, that's now my primary care physician and my husband. So it's a great win-win for everyone, I would think.
Well, it's always nice to hear that as well. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Well, now, Jim, there's so many definitions of the patient experience, and perhaps in some institutions there is no definition of the patient experience. So it's obviously difficult to achieve something that you can't even describe. And in your book, you talked about the definition of the patient experience, and I love the blind men and the elephant parable. So I thought that was quite telling. So if you would fill us in a little bit on that.
Well, you're exactly right. I think defining it is very difficult, and organizations struggle with it. And I often equate it to the parable of the blind man and the elephant, where you have 7 blind men touching an elephant in a different spot, and each one of them describes it as being something different, and nobody has perspective that it's an elephant or what it really looks like. And that's how the patient experience was. People will give you their opinion on what they think it is and what we can do to make it better, and nobody's wrong, because from the patient's perspective, everything is experience. But to be successful organizationally, to be able to attack this problem and improve it or fix it, you have to define it for the people that are going to be driving it. Otherwise, they don't understand how it fits into a very complicated environment. So the way we've defined it, patients first, or the patient experience, is really about first delivering safe care, second, high-quality care, third, in an environment where patients and families are satisfied, and then everything else we do. In healthcare, if you don't get safety right, nothing else matters.
Right.
If you don't get quality over satisfaction, what's the point? So it's really about identifying how you want people to think about it, and ultimately that's how they will operationalize. Patient satisfaction surveys, or the experience of care surveys, are not surveys designed to gauge whether patients are happy. They are designed to understand from the patient's perspective whether care delivery was effective. And that's the distinction. In the United States today, I think patient experience has been branded about making patients happy, and it is not. It is about how effective we deliver what we do, which is great health care.
Right. First of all, you can't make everyone happy, and secondly, happiness might not be the safe alternative.
Well, that's an excellent point, and ultimately we're in the ultimate service business where the customer is not always right. Sometimes you have to have very real discussions about something patients are not going to be happy about.
Well then, since you were an early pioneer, so to speak, what words of advice would you give to an organization that's looking to improve the patient experience?
I think first you have to recognize that fixing it is not going to be expensive. It starts with basic things. Create an environment where leadership is talking about it and making the patient experience a top strategic priority. Number 2, define it. Make sure that everyone in the organization understands where it fits relative to other competing priorities, because in reality, they're all important. Safety, quality, satisfaction, all 3 are important, and they fit together. Number 3, I think getting the data out to people, to managers, to the front lines, so you can really see how well you're doing is critical. You can't fix something if you can't measure something, and you can't fix something if your leaders don't have the data to see where they're at. Those 3 steps are very basic, I think, for any strategy, for any organization that's trying to improve the experience.
And I would imagine, since you're dealing with so many people, how do you get a buy-in from every single person within the organization? Because all it takes is one bad conversation or an encounter, and that's what defines a person's patient experience, and that's the story that they're most likely going to share with their friends.
Well, you're absolutely right, and unfortunately it's not perfect, and there's always going to be opportunity for improvement. But I think getting the conversation started, setting patient experience, improving the patient experience as a top strategic priority, starts to send the message across the organization to leaders, to managers, to all the caregivers that we really need to pay attention to this. So we'll be a little bit more vigilant about making sure that we're driving towards high performance and patient-centeredness.
And getting back to what we just mentioned about the safety aspect and making people happy, what do you do to address patient expectations versus the reality issue? I mean, everyone enters the hospital with their own set of prior experiences, their own health literacy skills, and their expectations. And as I just said earlier, those quite simply might not even be doable or safe. And I've always been an advocate for patient training. What can be done then to somewhat align this mismatch?
Well, I think that's absolutely true. And patient training or having good conversations and helping patients understand the environment is critical. You know, we spend a lot of time educating patients about disease and disease management, but we spend very little time talking to patients about what to expect when you are a patient or what the hospital is going to be like. So we need to do more of that. We need to help patients understand the environment. We need to spend more time talking about what's going to happen to them. We need to spend more time creating partnerships, because that's an area where patients can really help us deliver better care by creating better partnerships with their caregivers.
Well, now, getting back to your book for a minute, you so aptly say that everyone is part of the healthcare ecosystem. So with that in mind, what can non-healthcare professionals, say from other industries, learn from your book, or even patients for that matter, that might move their personal patient experience in a positive direction?
You know, it's a great question. I get asked that a lot, and I think one of the most important concepts to come out of healthcare, because we certainly take a lot of good concepts from non-healthcare, is empathy. The ability to sit on the other side and really understand what they're going through, what your customer is going through, is critically important. I've talked to a large food manufacturer about this concept. I've talked to a bank about this concept. You know, understanding your customer's perspective, whether you're dealing with financial transactions or shipments or delivering healthcare, it's very important to helping fine-tune your processes so that they improve. I think driving better empathy across service businesses is probably one of the most important concepts that other businesses can learn from healthcare.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it really shouldn't be that hard to do. I mean, just put yourself in someone else's shoes, or imagine that's your mom or dad across the bed from you, and practice that with each encounter.
Well, that's absolutely right. And you can do that with any business.
Right.
It doesn't have to just be healthcare.
Yep. Well, Jim, I know there's so much more we can talk about. Is there something that we're not touching upon that you want to head into?
You know, I want to reiterate this concept of the ecosystem as it relates to the patient experience. It's so important, and that, I think, demonstrates why this is important for everybody that's listening, not just if you're in healthcare, because at the end of the day, we will all be patients. Mm-hmm. Not because we work in healthcare or support healthcare or have radio shows that try to improve safety and quality in healthcare. This affects all of us. It affects how I'm taken care of as a patient, how my family's taken care of. So we should want everybody to pay attention to this and ask better questions and be engaged around what they're receiving with their care.
Absolutely, and you are quite the leader at this. So with that, how can our listeners learn more about you and what you do, and where can they purchase your book?
Well, thank you for asking. Every major online retailer is carrying it, certainly Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, so we would invite people to take a look. Absolutely.
Service Fanatics. It's an awesome book. I read it all in one big gobble. I just sat there and read it all.
Wow.
I did.
Reader.
Oh my gosh. And I understand that you are making a career and life move soon. Can you share that with us?
I am. I'm very excited to be joining an organization called Press Ganey. Press Ganey is a data analytics solutions company that helps healthcare providers deliver safer, higher quality, more patient-centered care to their patients and customers. And I will be leading up their strategic consulting division as president and chief medical officer. So I'm very excited about the opportunity to take this important work and help other organizations across the United States and world drive better performance for patients.
Wow, who knew when you first began at the Cleveland Clinic that you were going to be taking this road with the patient experience, huh?
I have to tell you, when I started practicing medicine, I had no idea where it would take me. I knew, how we define care for patients needed to be better, but who knew that there would be such an opportunity to impact and work with so many great people in this area.
Oh, well, congratulations to you. Before you leave, Jim, do you have any final words of advice for us today?
I advocate that patients like you do, Pat, need to be more engaged. They need to ask questions. They shouldn't be afraid. I think the only way we can be successful in ensuring that what we do every day to bring safer, higher quality care that's more patient-friendly is for people out there when they're facing healthcare to not be afraid to really step forward and be an advocate for themselves and their loved ones.
Absolutely, we are on the same page with that. Well, Jim, thank you for taking the time to give us a sneak peek into your book, Service Fanatics, How to Build Superior Patient Experience, the Cleveland Clinic Way. A valuable resource for how to think about the patient experience, how to define it, and the factors that are critical to improving it. And Jim, you are always welcome on our program.
Thank you, Pat. I really appreciate it, and it's always my honor to be on your program.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Jerry the Germ with a Speak Up and Stay Alive healthcare safety snippet just for you. Here's our expert, Pat Rulo.
Hey, Jerry, did you know that people are talking dirty and don't even know it? Think of cell phones and office telephones. Thanks to you, they're covered with thousands of Jerrys just like you. Thousands of people each year miss time from work thanks to all of this dirty talk. Sanitize your phone daily with a disposable disinfecting wipe and clean your hands every so often with soap and water if possible. Talking dirty isn't nice and it's not healthy. Oh, Jerry, now what are you doing on the bottom of that lady's purse?
Listen to Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio. For more information, go to speakupandstayalive.com.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest.
SpeakUpandStayAlive.com. That's SpeakUpandStayAlive.com.
Well, the holidays must bring out the fun side of our listeners. At Thanksgiving, we received some crazy turkey jokes, and I guess December is going to be the same. So once again, let's try to get to some of these. And as Joe said last time, don't shoot the messenger. We did not write these. All right, Joe, what do we got?
All right, here's from an email. Did you hear that Santa fell and went into the hospital and lost his whole left side?
Oh no, what happened?
Well, it doesn't matter now. He's all right now.
Oh, who sent that? Okay, I've got one that someone sent in. Santa was in the hospital recovering from surgery, and the nurse stopped in to ask how he was feeling. I'm okay, said Santa, but I didn't like the 4-letter word the doctor used in surgery. What did he say? Asked the nurse. Oops. Oh,
that's too much.
Oh, by the way, Joe, your mustache and beard are looking good.
I didn't like my beard at first. Then it grew on me.
All right, do we have any more?
Oh, yeah. Judy from Gold Canyon emailed this. England has no kidney bank, but it does have a liver pool.
Oh, that's fun. Bob, did you like that?
Oh, that was great.
Come on, Bob. Hey, Bob, when you get a bladder infection, guess what?
You're in trouble.
Get it, Joe? You're in trouble.
Oh,
Bob, you're funny and you're smart. Hey, Joe, before Bob was funny and smart, did you know that he used to be a banker?
mm-mm.
But then he lost interest.
Oh.
Not good, is it? Okay, Santa went to the doctor complaining about a terrible leg pain. Oh, it's just old age, replied the doctor. There's nothing we can do about it. How can that be? Fumed Santa. You don't know what you're saying? Well, how can you possibly know I am wrong? Countered the doctor. Well, it's quite obvious, Santa replied. My other leg is fine, and it's the exact same age. He's just making a face. Speaking of going to the doctor, I went to get a blood test, and they told me I had type A, but it was a typo. All right, here's a bunch of doctor jokes sent in by Emily's mom in Canada. All right, Joe, will you be the doctor?
Okay.
All right, remember that skit we did last summer? You were Dr. Joe, and I was Patient Pat. All right, here we go. Doctor, with all the excitement of Christmas, I can't sleep.
Oh, try lying on the edge of your bed. You'll soon drop off.
Ooh.
Doctor, I keep thinking I'm a Christmas bell.
Just take these pills, and if they don't work, give me a ring.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Doctor, I'm scared of Father Christmas.
Don't worry, you're suffering from claustrophobia.
Bob? You like that one, Bob?
Oh, that's too much.
Doctor, can I have a second opinion?
Of course, come back tomorrow.
Oh.
Ooh.
Doctor, will this ointment clear up my spots?
I never make rash promises.
Doctor, what did the x-ray of my head show?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh.
Ooh.
Same thing to whoever sent these. Oh, and here's one from a new nurse in Cleveland. My first day working at a nursing home, I heard a doctor yelling, typhoid, tetanus, measles. So I asked another nurse, why is he doing that? And she replied, he just likes to call the shots around here. All right, guys, here's a medical question. When they take out an appendix, it's called an appendectomy. When they remove your tonsils, it's called a tonsillectomy. What is it when they remove a growth from your head?
Head anatomy?
I have no idea.
A haircut.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Samina from Texas sent this. Pat, I rushed my son to the emergency room last week after he swallowed 2 quarters. The nurse came into the room to check on him. I asked her, Nurse, is there any news? And she turned as she was leaving the room and answered, sorry, no change. Oh, any more, Joe?
Oh, yeah. An honest politician and Santa Claus were walking down the street and saw a $20 bill. Which one picked it up?
Oh, I don't know. What do you think, Bob?
Santa Paws?
Santa Paws? I don't know. What is it, Joe?
Santa. The other doesn't exist. There's no honest politician.
Oh, that's good. Are there any more?
Oh, yeah. How does Santa take pictures?
Oh, what do you think, Bob?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
He uses a North Polaroid.
Oh.
All right. What did Santa say to Mrs. Claus when he looked out the window?
I have no idea.
Oh, no, I'm stumped.
Looks like rain, dear.
God. Ooh.
No, that's all right.
What do elves call it when Santa claps his hands?
What do you think, Bob?
Santa Paws?
Very close.
What?
Santa applause.
Oh, Santa applause.
Santa applause.
Santa applause.
Okay.
That's good.
What do you call Santa after he has come down the chimney?
Probably a dirty old man.
Cinder Claus.
Oh, Cinder Claus. Gosh.
What do you call Santa when he has no money?
Broke.
Poor Santa.
Saint Nicholas.
Oh, that's good. St. Nicholas. All right.
What do you get if Santa comes down the chimney while the fire is still burning?
Oh, no.
I have no idea.
Hot mess. I don't know.
Crisp Kringle.
Crisp Kringle. Okay.
Ugh.
Any more?
Yeah. What did the bald man say when he got a comb for Christmas?
When he got a comb for Christmas. Here it is.
No. Thanks, I'll never part with it.
Oh, God.
All righty.
What happens if you eat the holiday decorations?
Oh, I don't know.
I have no idea, Joe.
You get tinselitis.
Oh, tinselitis. I've got one. What did Adam say on the day before Christmas? It's Christmas Eve.
Oh, my God.
That's a good one. All right, here's a story about Rudolph's medical bill. It was sent by Jack, the medical student. Santa Claus brings poor Rudolph to the vet. He says to the vet, "Doctor, please do something for my Rudolph. His nose won't light up." The vet walks out of the room and returns with a pet carrier. He places the pet carrier next to the reindeer, opens it, and out steps a cat. The cat walks around the reindeer and sniffs it. Then the cat walks back into the carrier. The animal doctor takes it out of the room and returns. He hands Santa Claus the bill. Santa gasps. $350? You didn't do anything for my poor Rudolph, and you're charging me $350? The vet shrugged and replied, "That's the usual charge. $50 for the office visit and $300 for the CAT scan." Oh, that's actually not bad.
No.
Any more?
All right. Yeah, this has got to be the final one.
Okay.
All right. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Dewey.
Dewey who?
Do we have to keep telling these jokes?
Oh, no. No, we don't. You guys are good sports. We're just reading what we get. And remember, though, laughter is a tranquilizer with no negative side effects. Well, with laughter in mind, don't go anywhere, Bob. I think it's time for the most requested radio show game of all time, at least according to my calculations.
Oh, Fear the Wheelchair.
Yes, Joe. By now, everybody knows the wheelchair is a high-touch, highly contaminated vehicle capable of spreading infections all over the place. So the wheelchair is now this show's representation of all hospital dangers, kind of like our mascot. So here we go. Our favorite game of...
Fear the Wheelchair.
Do we have our Christmas sounds ready?
Oh, yeah.
Ho, ho, and no, no?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. So listen as Joe reads some right or wrong statements. Then join Bob as we test your skills. Is the question right? Or is it wrong?
No.
All right.
All right. Sorry. I had no idea that we were Fear the Wheelchair. I thought another joke was coming before that. So anyway.
This is a joke.
Right. Right or wrong, the norovirus is a gastrointestinal virus most often associated with cruise ships.
What do you think, Bob?
I think that's right.
Do you agree, Joe?
Sure.
Sure.
I'm thinking of it as a joke. I'm sorry. I'm not thinking.
Oh, it's not a joke. The norovirus is very serious. It's a very contagious virus that can infect anyone. You could get it from an infected person, contaminated food or water, or by touching contaminated surfaces. Anywhere you have lots of people and confined to a specific space, all touching surfaces, not washing hands. Think Scrabble games, poker chips, playing cards.
Oh.
Gosh.
Jeez. Oh, and by the way, because Bob was correct.
Oh, that's right.
Don't want
to miss a hoe.
No. Right or wrong, more than 85 drugs may interact with grapefruit.
What do you say, Bob?
I'm going to say that's right.
No.
Oh, well, I think it is right, actually. What?
Really? Mine says no.
What the heck?
I don't have answers.
All right, guys, whatever. Always know the name of your medications, what they're for, their side effects, and ask if anything interacts with them, such as grapefruit, alcohol, or other drugs. It's up to us to know how to take our medications properly.
All right, here's another one. You guys make me cringe all the time. Right or wrong, you can catch the herpes virus, among other things, if you share lipstick.
What do you think, Bob?
I'd say that's true.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's not a wise idea, and be sure to replace your lipstick and other makeup every few months. Makeup and makeup brushes can harbor bacteria, so wash your hands before applying makeup. Wash and air dry your brushes, and wipe your makeup bag once each week with a bleach wipe.
All right, right or wrong, a living will declaration states you do not want artificial measures to prolong life.
What do you think, Bob?
That's wrong.
Bob's going crazy. No, that's right. This is true.
No.
Thank you, Joe. Somebody is paying attention here. A living will tells your family and doctors that you only want comfort care only. So if this is what you wish, it's important to take care of this now before you're in a position to need this document. Our expert guests from Schraff and King know all of the special execution requirements so that the document says and does what you want it to do. Any more?
Oh, yes. Right or wrong, an immune-compromised patient is someone whose immune system is low and can catch a cold or infection easily.
What do you think about that,
Oh,
Bob?
that's right.
That is right. Anyone from a small infant to an older adult can have a weak immune system due to a variety of factors. The key is to recognize this and take extra precautions when around this person. Wash your hands, keep that person clean, keep their home clean, and eat healthy foods.
And the final one, right or wrong, the average lifespan of a dollar bill is 4.7 years before it's taken out of circulation.
What do you think, Bob?
I think that's right because I don't have many dollars.
No.
Well, actually, that is right.
It says no. You know what? That's just a turkey of a question.
That is. What a great way to end. Actually, that's right. Let's talk about dirty money. Money has been found to harbor bacteria, viruses, mold, and yeast, and even cocaine and heroin residue. So if a dollar bill has been around for 4.7 years, you might want to wash your hands after handling and use a sanitizing wipe on your purse or your wallet. Well, remember, the more you know, the safer you'll be, and you heard about it here on Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio. Thank you guys for playing everyone's favorite game,
Fear the Wheelchair.
You are listening to Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio, where the boys and I are keeping you safe during any healthcare or hospital encounter. Coming up, more timely healthcare safety tips. Stay in your seat. With the holidays coming up, you just might find yourself traveling. If you've ever stayed in a hotel and wiped down the TV remote control before using it, you are not alone. An average hotel remote control is 8 times more contaminated than a public toilet seat. So what are hotels doing about this? Hopefully everything they can, but it's not an easy problem to solve. A hygiene company from Texas called Cleanint has a device that cleans your remote for you using ultraviolet waves. The housekeeper puts the remote in the device after they clean the room, and by the time you check in, your remote is free from 99.94% of germs. Whether you suffer from sensitivities or simply take your hygiene seriously when you travel, you might want to call your hotel or motel of choice ahead of time and ask what they do to disinfect your room. If they offer no acceptable answer, suggest to them they look into Cleanint. Just visit cleanint.com. That's CLEANINT.com. Or call 888-715-0464. That's 888-715-0464. Well, as usual, we try to pack in as much as we possibly can into a solid 52 minutes. And we're short on time, so a few quick reminders. Be sure to start the new year with healthcare safety on your to-do list. Now more than ever, you need to be in charge of you. Purchase a copy of the Speak Up and Stay Alive Patient Advocate Hospital Survival Guide. Someone recently told me that the book costs $20, but is worth the difference between a safe or unsafe hospital experience. And that made me stop and think about the difference between the cost of something and the worth. If someone asked you to swap a $20 bill for a safe healthcare experience, I just know you'd do that in a heartbeat. I sure would. Heck, you don't even have to read the book. Just bring it with you or as a gift to someone who's in the hospital. Lay it on the tray table and watch everyone who comes in either look at it with knowing eyes, or usually they'll ask a question about it. Therefore, it opens up the conversation about patient safety, and that is huge. You can order online at speakupandstayalive.com or call 440-725-5462. That's 440-725-5462. Second reminder, if you belong to a group, club, senior group, women's group, church, or any organization, hospitals, nurse organizations, it doesn't matter. Invite me to speak. It's a fresh topic that's actually useful. Again, call me at 440-725-5462. or email me at pat@speakupandstayalive.com. speakupandstayalive.com. And finally, remember to listen to our new internet radio station. It's called speakuptalkradio.com. speakuptalkradio.com for some extraordinary programs such as Flavor Living Radio, The Vaccine Agenda, The Gift of Choice, Health Talk with Dr. Len, Realty Universal Radio, Those Weekend Golf Guys, Psychics Gone Wild, The Janet Love Show, Boil the Frog Slowly, and of course this program, Speak Up and Stay Alive. There's many more. Just visit the website and you can listen as the shows occur on the station, or you can select a specific program on demand. That's speakuptalkradio.com. So 3 things to do: purchase the book, invite me to speak, and listen to our new radio station, speakuptalkradio.com. And now it's time to finish up some last-minute holiday shopping, frost a few more cookies, and enjoy some end-of-the-year reflection. As this year comes to a close, I encourage you to appreciate the positive things and people in your life. Mentally throw out all that weighs heavy and use your mind to create a fresh start. Disconnect from technology for a while. Turn off your cell phone. Pick up a real book. Visit with an old friend. And I'll see you next week. Same time, same place, but never the same information. Until then, I hope you have a healthy and a happy week, free from dirty lemons, nose-picking drivers, women's purse bottoms, and hotel bedspreads. I am Pat Rouleau, and I am your guide to safe and successful healthcare and hospital encounters.
Listen to Pat Rouleau and Speak Up and Stay Alive RadiOh. Stay safe from little-known healthcare and hospital hazards. To learn more, go to speakupandstayalive.com. That's speakupandstayalive.com.